Hey there. So, I just went for a bit of a hike, and where I went today was the lower end of a trail that I really like. And the lower end, there's a lot of beach, and then there's also a lot of marsh, especially at one particular point. And especially after it rained the day before, when you go through that, get an awful lot of mud. So, my tootsies are a little wet and dirty, and gonna have to deal with these shoes in a bit. And it kind of got me thinking, remembering when I was a kid, and of course, when you're a little kid, what do you want to do? You want to go play in the dirt. You want to go play in the mud. What's the one thing that'll piss your parents off more than anything? Coming back in the house when you played in the mud. Or playing in the mud right before you're going to go to grandma's or go to church or someplace where they care that you're presentable. And let's face it, you know inevitably when you get into one of those spots where you're supposed to stay clean and inevitably you trip on something or somebody pushes you or one way or the other you find your way to getting dirty because that's what kids do. That's our natural default. And I guess eventually we start to assimilate to the grown-ups wanting us to stay clean and stay out of the mud. And some of us never learn, and that's okay. But it's kind of an analogy for how a lot of us think we have to process life. Like, we kind of have to be clean. We have to stand in one spot or believe on one side or feel like we've got this thing figured out. And yet, what eventually happens? We get new information. We see something from a different perspective. Sometimes life just freaking happens. And next thing you know, we're kind of back in the mud. And we're trying to figure it out. And for a lot of us, that could be a struggle because we're supposed to look like we have our stuff together. What is this? This can't be. But what if it was okay not to know? What if it was okay to be confused? What if it was okay to not understand all of it? Or to just see that there could be another way to explain it. And we don't have to like it. We don't have to agree with it. But we can still see where there are valid points. What if we were able to accept that everything's freaking messy? And there's always a point where if we see the world in black and white, we're ultimately going to contradict ourselves. Because the reality is everything's gray and, you know, there's some colors thrown in. And, yeah, well, just for kicks, we'll add a few gradients. What if it's all right that we're just trying to figure it out? And we don't know. What if it was okay to stay in the mud? And it was okay for it to be messy and dirty and track God knows what all across the floor. Just a thought. I guess I'll go clean myself off now. But it was fun. Hope your day's going amazing. Take care, be safe, and be well.